Hey there, I'm Caitlin. One thing I think I needed to hear when I first became a DM was simply, hey, it's okay. It's okay to run a shorter session, to run a short campaign. When you first start as a dungeon master, it's really easy to fall into the trap of building an expansive world and an adventure that will span on for God knows how long. And that is really fun, undeniably, I love it. Building a Lord of the Rings-esque grand adventure that crosses your entire world and will likely take a year, if not more, to finish. I mean, it's fun. But is it really the best way that you can start? When I first began as a dungeon master, I created a small island with a series of plot points and a few encounters influenced by parts of the larger world. The players worked through all of it, loved it, and then we got to the end with them escaping from danger and accomplishing their objective. And in all honesty, that's probably where I should have ended it. I had made a bunch of early failures as a DM. I mean, of course I did. I was new, and this was the first time I'd run a campaign. But I didn't want to stop the adventure, at least not there, because my players were having so much fun. I felt like I needed to continue, despite the fact that I realistically had built up only one island and had an entire blank slate world, borrowing a few names that I'd used to pepper in some lore. What I really should have done was just let the campaign end there, and that is okay to do. I think it's a really common trap to fall into the idea of, well, my players love the world and they want to keep playing their characters. But they can. Just start a new campaign in the same world. You can always think up background reasons of why you changed the mechanics or have altered things from your failures. Good players will understand that you need to change some things. If, say, your fighter got to level 5, but you want to do a second campaign, still set in the same world, and start at level 3 this time, and they still want to play that level 5 fighter, okay, you can make that work. There are always workable reasons for why you have to change things. Perhaps the second campaign is a few months down the line, and the fighter has been off recovering from the horrors of the first campaign. They've rested up, and maybe an injury has dulled their senses. Some simple explanation for why they were level 5, now they're level 3. Does it not feel as good to alter your character like that? Not really, it obviously doesn't. But you know what feels even worse? Going into unprepared sessions that start to spiral out of control because in session 2 of your campaign you gave a mage a necklace of fireballs. And unfortunately, you were brand new and never managed to fix the power spike of your players versus what you were prepared to do. Rushing out content to appease your players is kind of understandable, but as a dungeon master, one of the biggest lessons you need to learn is sometimes it's okay to stop. Prepared content and short bursts of amazingly designed moments will 9 times out of 10 beat a long campaign that is as deep as a puddle. And I know a lot of people may disagree with this, but I genuinely think the best way to learn is through short, planned out one shots, modules, and mini campaigns before you deep dive into a huge, long form campaign with players that you may not yet know well and a world that hasn't been fleshed out enough. Treat each mini campaign as a chance to learn, a test run. This campaign I'm going to run for 1 month with 2 sessions a week. Its goal will be to try introducing the players to a new country that I've made, or perhaps to try voice acting NPCs, or to try making a magical item creation system. And at this point, you're probably like, well, Kate, I could just do that session to session. I don't. Why would using a shorter campaign series really help me there? Well, these are the kinds of things that you can do in a smaller setting and then simply not use them again if they didn't work. You have the opportunity to test with abandon. If your players just get all +3 weapons at level 6 and it's a one-shot series, that doesn't completely screw up your written epic, so just let them enjoy that. Let them enjoy being overpowered. Get some experience of running versus that kind of difficulty. Then come back to the drawing board for your next session of your new campaign and think about what you've learned. There is absolutely something to learn from long form campaigns. Learning pacing and the connection of different narrative threads through running a much longer campaign can be genuinely very important for a DM that wants to do something of that sort. But I don't think that running these longer form campaigns as your first session and first kind of lead into being a long form dungeon master is really beneficial in any way. I think that more often than not, you'll lead to a scenario where, yes, you'll have a lot of fun, but you don't really get the opportunity to apply what you've learned. And it will lead to a lot of moments where you, as a DM, kind of go, I wish I could reset things, or things are spiraling out of control because you tried something and maybe it didn't work at that point, and that is perfectly okay. Every DM does that. Even the best DMs will have those moments where they just swing, and unfortunately it's a miss. We all do. It's perfectly normal. Anyway, that's all for today. I really just had that as a point. I felt like it's very easy to fall into this trap with the long form epics that we see on YouTube and Twitch these days. Your first campaign doesn't have to be the next Critical Role, and facing facts, it's probably not going to be. Allow yourself to learn, then pause, reflect, and come back refreshed. Thank you again for watching, and please check out my Patreon below for support with the upcoming videos, as well as new D&D homebrew content. If you've not been paying attention to my Twitter lately, I've been posting a lot of Elden Ring to 5e boss conversions, so come check it out, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!